Welcome to today's video. We are going to do our January TBR and do the highlights and lowlights of our December reading. We're filming in a different place, just testing some stuff out. Let me know if you like it or if you like the other area. Plus, the kids right now have overtaken my library. Sometimes when I read in there, then they end up going in there. And then when I film, I can't because they're in there. So instead of kicking them out, we're just gonna try something different. Let's go ahead and hop into it. I will have timestamps down below just in case you're only here for December wrap up or you only wanna know what I'm reading this month. We're gonna start with our January TBR and the top 4 books that we want to read. First book I wanna read is The Ivies by Alexa Dunn. I did read Pretty Dead Queens by her. I really enjoyed it. This is a YA mystery. Olivia, who attends the prestigious Claflin Academy, they're known for the number of kids that get into the Ivy Leagues. She is part of this group of 5 girls who are known as the Ivies and will stop at nothing to make sure that they get into the Ivy Leagues. One of them ends up dead and she goes on a mystery hunt to see what happens. I technically haven't finished this because I am filming this on the 4th of the month. This is the first book I read, so I will have the review up. I will link it just in case you want to see it. But I am really enjoying Alexa Dunn books and I'm really excited to read this, or I'm really excited that I have read it. Technically. The next book is part of my 25 in 2025 reading group, but Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry. I read In a Holidays by them, which was more of a romance, holiday, cozy romance. So I'm excited to read something in more of the mystery thriller to see how it goes. This is about 3 different women. One of them wakes up, she is living a life she has no recollection of. There's another woman that's in a mysterious cabin. And a 3rd woman wakes up in a shipping container, no recollection of how she gets there. These 3 women are all trying to solve a mystery that somehow are going to interconnect. I'm really excited to see how this goes, the different stories and how they combine. Southern Flame by Olivia Blackburn. This is the 2nd in the Queen Council series. The Queen Council series is a series all written by different authors, but about Disney princesses, and the stories all pick up where the Disney princess story ends. In this one, Mulan has already fought the war. She's back in her home. She's training other female warriors. The current emperor has decided that Mulan will take their place. However, not everybody's on her side. These are YA stories. I read the first one, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I will also link the official review, but these are really good stories and I'm excited to continue on in the series. Night Circus by Erin Morgenson. I really enjoyed the Ladies of the Secret Circus. This is giving me vibes that it could be potentially similar to that, and so I want to read it. This takes place in the late 1800s. There's a place called the Night Circus that shows up in the middle of the night in different places. It is open from dusk and closes at dawn. You cannot get into it otherwise, and there's all sorts of magic, but there's also a magic duel between 2 magicians who are growing. So it seems like there's a lot of different pieces to this, a lot of different stories going on, that I think it'll be a really interesting read. I saw somebody talking about this recently and the way they described it was really intriguing. I'm not doing a very good job. My apologies, but I will let you know how it goes out. Those are the top 4 books that I plan to read in January. And now we will go into our December reading stats. I read a total of 9 books and an average of 3.44 stars. We had a pretty successful reading month. I'm not going to go over every book that I have read this month. I will include the playlist. I review in shorts all the books that I read. If you're curious about any of them, you can look it up there or watch them all. Don't mind that either. But I'm going to go over some prompts that Books Like Woe does. So this is inspiration from her. Also, if you have any other prompts, considerations, or ideas, please let me know down below. But the prompts I'm going to start with are my favorite, my most disappointing, and my most surprising. Starting with my favorite book for December. These ones are all the 9 books that I read in December. So, starting with my favorite, hands down, The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. I love the Gilmore Girls. I loved learning so much more about Kelly Bishop. I appreciate more of her character and who she is. I also didn't realize what a history in Broadway and some of the really big moments in Broadway that she was a part of. It was really fun to learn more about who she was as a person. She seems really cool. I just really thought this was a well-written book. It's not too long. I think they keep with the stories, the way they keep facts and stories. I just think it was overall a really well done, well-written book. and I enjoyed learning about her. Now we will go into my most disappointing. Hands down, the only purple house in town. This is the fourth in the Fix It Witch series, which I have enjoyed so much. This one, however, is awful. And mostly because Eli Reese, so let's back up. Iris Collins is kind of the black sheep in her family, and she has trouble with her finances. She doesn't really have good magic skills. Like, she just kind of is what they would consider a letdown, and all of her sisters are like high achieving and really powerful vampires. She inherits her great aunt's purple house. She moves in and she decides she's gonna rent it out to help with her finances. In comes Eli Reese, who knew her when she was younger. They had one interaction where she protected him from a bully, and ever since then he's been obsessed with her. Fine, whatever, I get that. The creep part is that he has like religiously, and he talks about religiously checked her socials like on a routine basis since then. And just some of the things that he does is just creepy. So anyways, he ends up getting mixed up with her and renting a room from her, even though he's super wealthy due to his app building. He's super smart, super wealthy. It's romance. There's some twists in the magic. This one I didn't feel like had as much magic throughout it as some of the others, but it still does. The twist at the end with kind of her magic story and growth, I thought should have been the whole story. And maybe the romance take a back burner or not be there at all, because the romance and chemistry between them felt very forced and weird. And I just have to talk about some of the things. So you see these like dark, I annotated. That's one of my goals for 2025 is to do some annotation. So I tried it, but I don't know if you can tell, like these dark pink are moments where it's like red flag with him. He just says the absolute creepiest things. And this one's talking about his ritual of checking her social media. So here's the thing. We could have made this story continuing on if we had done it differently. It would have been different. Like he saw her and they went and started stalking her social media in there. It wouldn't have been less creepy. But the fact that like since that day he's been obsessed with her is a little extreme, especially because like they never talked again. He held on to this like bracelet or necklace, I don't remember, since the day. But there's also, I have some like thoughts about this, but there's also this one line in here where she is giving him the keys. I had to rant because the thing is like romance always has like weird things, but like this one was just, ugh. And like at this moment is when I decided there is no redemption for this man. So anyways, she's giving him the keys. She thinks that he flips houses. So she gives him a key that has a keychain and this little like functional tape measure. She gets it and he's like, what's this? And she's like, oh, you know, because you flip houses, that's sweet. I'm sure I'll get a lot of use out of these. She's like, really? And she's like, really? You know, excited, like, oh, he's happy about it. He says, sure. Hell, he'd measure his own dick to keep her smiling with such delight. Do you think that's not going to make anybody delight? It's just like things like that where he's just like, I'll do. It could have been done differently. So sorry, rant over. But I'm just, oh, this book just makes me mad. So disappointed in it. My biggest surprise is Rebel Rose. This is the first in the Queen Council series. It is a Disney princess retelling. This one happens to be by Belle. They're all by different authors. I really like how these stories can really stand on their own. This one's about Belle during the French Revolution. The Beast has become the prince. However, she's choosing not to take the princess title. She feels like doesn't fit her. There can be some points of contention, but because it takes time during the French Revolution, they're seeing the fall of Paris and want to make sure that doesn't happen in their town of Avignon. So the Beast becomes the king. However, she is yet again still choosing not to take the queen title. They are trying to make sure that their village does not fall. However, there's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of things going and she has to help him figure out how to save their village. What I really like about this is it seems like its own story, but they do so many subtle nods to the original story of Beauty and the Beast, and towards the end it really brings it all together and really incorporates it. Again, this is another one I annotated. I have learned to not mark everything, but I was putting in here like these green ones, which are all like all points of where there's a reference to the original in terms of a specific character or an item or a time, anything like that. But this does a really good job of incorporating those together, letting it stand on its own, but really embody the story of Beauty and the Beast. Anyone who's a really big Beauty and the Beast fan, I think will really enjoy this, but it is a YA. I really figured I would like it, but I just didn't realize how much I would just appreciate how they did this story, and that's also why I'm reading the second one in January. But this was really well done, and this was my most surprising. That wraps up our January TBR and our December reading wrap up. If you've read any of these books, have any suggestions of books, etc., please leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.